When the eastern horizon became tinged with the redness that heralds the rising of the sunrise, the jewel among the Brahmins, Lord Gaur Sundar, immediately awakened. Taking his devotees with him, he journeyed through the towns and villages of Nadia. The mridanga resounded, tatai, tatai, and the chants, large metal kortas that look like small cymbals, and that kirtan played in time. Lord Gauranga's golden form slightly trembled in ecstatic love of Godhead, and his foot bells jingled. Lord Chaitanya called out the townsfolk, "You spend your nights useless sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Now just fill your mouths with the holy names Mukunda Madhava, Yadava, and Hari, chanting without offense. You have achieved the rare human body. Don't you care for this gift? If you do not worship the darling of Yashoda now, great sorrow awaits you at the time of your death." With every rising and setting of the sun, a day passes and is lost. When then do you remain idle and not serve the Lord of the heart? You should understand this essential fact. Life is temporary and filled with various kinds of miseries. Therefore, carefully take shelter of the holy name and remain always engaged in its service as your eternal occupation. Desiring to bless all living entities, the sweet name of Krishna has descended to this material universe and shines like the sun in the sky of the heart, destroying the darkness of ignorance. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Krishna and thus satisfy the soul of Bhakti-Vinod. There is nothing except the holy name within all the 14 worlds. Srila Bhakti-Vinod Thakur ki. Reading from I'll Build You a Temple, October 1973 to January 1977, Facing Challenges. People are so impressed the way the devotees are putting the shank and then, arati. People say that it is amazing that they have never seen anything like it. The door opens and at the same time the shank sounds. In all our temples in America and Europe, we have the same standard, Prabhupada pointed out. You must give your blessings, Lalita said. Indiraji has a strong desire and told me that I must tell you about village development, that the government is ready to give all money, but they need sincere devotees. Immediately Prabhupada responded, sincere devotees we have. We don't have the facility. If they are properly prepared, they can genuinely do the work. I told Indraji that Guru Maharaj has come to us. I even gave her all this literature. This is my prayer. At least 100 men come, I require. They will not take even 1 paisa from India. I can show you in the accounts how money is coming from outside for the maintenance. They don't care about politics. They just need visas. They will not take 1 paisa from India. Rather, they will give. They have no scarcity. They have come here to learn about Bhagavat Bhakti. And if Indira throws them out, it's not a good thing. They have nothing to do with politics. We're trying to unite the whole world, and our platform is Krishna consciousness. This is the United States. The so-called United Nations have been working for over 20 years. What work they have done? only increasing the flags. Hindustan, Pakistan, Vietnam. What is this? This is not unity. Pandita samadarshana. Without being a pundit, without acquiring knowledge, how can they have equal vision? Brahmabhuta prasandatma nasochati nakanchati samasareshu bhuteshu. Only when one is transcendental can he be equally disposed. Being covered by the darkness of Maya, they cannot have equal vision. Being envious and competitive of each other. Such a big work, Krishna consciousness, is going on all over the world. And those who are assisting me, if the Indian government rejects them, it is not good. Yeah, in those days it was difficult to get a visa. And, you always had to go down to the FRO, and first when you came in the country, you had to register. And then, I'm talking about foreigners. And in those days, ISKCON meant only foreigners. There were no Indians, practically speaking, few. Like our Haridas Prabhu, he was the rare exception. No Indians. They weren't joining, very few. And it was like that all over India. At that time, how many centers were there? Hyderabad, Delhi. Delhi was in a rented place in Lajpat Nagar, right? And Juhu was in a hut outside. This building was under construction. Few temples. Mayapur. Calcutta was a rented place, Albert Road, 3C Albert Road. So ISKCON was, property-wise, very small. And only Westerners were doing all the work, right? There were no Indians. Few, very few, were joining at that time. And even they had a problem to stay here. Only the British devotees could stay. And why the British devotees could stay? Because they didn't need a visa. If you were part of the Commonwealth, then you could come to India and stay. Commonwealth. Right? Later on that changed, but that was the case at the time. So a lot of the devotees that lived in Vrindavan and were doing services in Vrindavan were from the UK, like Smartahari Prabhu, Padmalochan Prabhu, Gunarnava, the temple president after a while, he was also from the UK. So Srila Prabhupada here speaking to this government official to give the devotees visas, right? Why should they always have to worry about a visa? And anyway, I can't really say on the microphone here, but devotees did so many things to try and stay in India, If you see me later, I can tell you, but I can't say over the microphone. So it was a very difficult situation to, keep the movement running in India just with the foreigners, and they're not able to get visas. Even if you apply for an extension, you get a visa, you apply for the extension, right? So they would stamp in your passport under consideration. They would never give you the extension. You were always under consideration. That's the way the government worked, under consideration. Right. This you make them understand properly. If they do that, it will not be a good thing. Let us be given this concession. And if I have to do this village organization, and for this, if I get cooperation, then I will show them a miracle. Just like people are seeing this miracle, the whole world is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, I will also show this miracle in India. How to organize villages. This is how I will do it. You want 100 men? Yes. I'm not asking for more. And if they get into any sort of politics, if any fault is found in them, if they interfere in any politics, diplomacy, then immediately they will leave. But this will not happen, I know, because I have prepared them. They consider these things insignificant, like dogs and jackals fighting. We have no interest in them. We want to remove this dog consciousness from them. You bring some dogs together and tell them to live peacefully. Is this ever possible? This you can make by your blessings. Let us start the projects. Yes. Many times when the newspaper asked me, I said that Indira Gandhi is spiritually and kind. If she improves, it will be perfect, and she wants to be improved. Barefoot Swami draws admiring Krishna crowd. Prabhupada cited from the article, and he addressed Brahmananda to read more. Asked about the political situation in his native India and criticized actions of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Brahmananda read, the Swami replied that Mrs. Gandhi is inclined in some spiritual understanding, and if she fully develops it, the situation will improve. Democracy is not much beneficial if its leaders have no spiritual values. Mahatma Gandhi was practically a dictator, but he was a man of high moral character, so people accepted him. Dictatorship can be good, provided the dictator is spiritually developed. Stay for some time in India, Lalita requested. I will, if there is cooperation from you all. This is a very big movement. If intelligent girls like you help us, then I will stay in India. I will give her such advice that all India will be benefited, provided she listens to me. The person I spoke to yesterday told me that she is eager to meet him, so he should talk high level. So you tell her that my boys have sacrificed everything and have come for the development of India, and you please do this little thing. We have some problem with tourist visa. Why tourist visa? Prabhupada asked. There is another visa, missionary. With that visa, they can stay permanently. In USA, they have given me this because I'm a missionary, so that I can stay permanently. Permanent residence. For India's improvement, I'm ready to do anything, he quoted a Bengali saying, from stitching shoes to reading the Chandi. I'm ready to do anything. She may ask about foreign exchange for the development of India. I'm bringing foreign exchange. Whatever property I have here, the money has come from abroad. Nothing has come from here. Whatever money I require for my work, I bring from abroad. I have brought crores and crores of rupees. I have all the bank details. I have mentioned this to Brahmananda Reddy, the Minister of Home Affairs. And I'm also telling you that if you can arrange for their visas, then I will be in peace. Otherwise, I have made this big institution, and if they leave, then how will I manage it? Everything will get spoiled, and there will be great harm. You have done such an amazing work. We cannot be like them. We will need some time. Not time. The way they are listening seriously, the reason I came here running is that this science is meant for the executive head of the state. In the Bhagavad-gita, 4th chapter, it is stated, Emam vishvate yogam proktavang ahamaviyam vivashvan manave prahur manur ishvakave pravit evam parampara praptam emam rajarsayo vidu. Rajarsayo is meant for the Raja Rishis. Indira is in the position of Raja. If she becomes a Rishi, then it will be successful. This is what I will tell her. I came running here just to tell you this, that you have got the position of royalty, you become a saintly lady. Then your scheme will be successful. That is required. That I can help. How to make her a Rishi. Then, not only the people of India will be benefited, but also the whole world will be benefited. And you have got that sampati, Bhagavad-gita guidance. I will not manufacture anything. That is not my business. concoction hodgepodge, without any knowledge, without any experience. We are not that type. We will account for every single penny. They will do it very nicely. They are expert in doing it. And the money they will give us, we will give accounts for every single penny. We just want facility, even if they don't give us money. We will bring money by begging abroad. We want the facility to work. If you two get together, what you say orally alone will not work, Lalita suggested. You will tell her everything, and after you meet someone else will come to meet her, and she will forget about what you said. But if it is in writing, then on that basis, ISKCON's work will be done. So now what shall I write? Prabhupada asked. And after discussing with Lalita and the devotees present, he dictated the following draft, which he asked Brahmananda to read. Your Excellency, Srimati Indira Devi Gandhi, when I was in Toronto, Canada, Srimati Lalita Devi, who is just like my daughter, sent me one intimation that she approached you for a meeting with me, and you and I have come here, postponing all my engagements. I am preaching this Krishna consciousness all over the world, and on the basis of Krishna's instruction in Bhagavad-gita. Actually, Krishna consciousness movement is called the Sankirtan movement and sometimes the Hare Krishna movement, which was inaugurated by Lord Chaitanya in Bengal and throughout all India. His mission is that everyone should become a guru and preach all over the world the instruction of Krishna. So we're doing this very faithfully, and it is becoming effective. I think in India also. If some vigorous activity is done for awakening the Krishna consciousness of the people under your leadership, it will be very effective. We have already 8 branches in India, and all development is being done by foreign exchange. It can be continued if I get encouragement by the government. So I shall be very much pleased to see you in this connection. I have written about 50 books of 400 pages each, such as Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita, Sindhu. And these books are very popular in foreign countries such as Europe and America. By the sales proceeds, I am bringing foreign exchange. Yours sincerely. Yours sincerely is all right, or your ever well-wisher, Prabhupada asked. Well-wisher, Lalita said. Your well-wisher. The word is already there. Sadhu Shastra Guru, Vakya, Chitete Koryakya. So immediately type it and give it to her. Where it says that I am bringing foreign exchange in the end by selling my books, I am bringing foreign exchange. It's for India's development. Jayapataka asked, for developing my scheme here, Prabhupada replied. And Gopal Krishna mentioned the point that they were bringing foreign exchange, whether there should be any word that also signifies that we have local support also. Our books are popular in foreign countries as well as in India. We are getting money also from these books. We have quotations from professors in America and also in India, Brahmananda said. Yes. You will present one Gita, Lalita advised, and write, lead your life according to these teachings. She is full of bhakti, but she needs good guidance. I shall personally teach Bhagavad-gita to her and her most confidential associates or who is governing. That I can do. If she agrees, Emam Rajarsayo Vidu. I wanted a Raja Rishi to take up the movement seriously, but I could not get one till now. If she becomes, it will be the benefit for me, for the world, and for her, everyone, because I have no power, I have no money, but if one Raja Rishi, who has got strength, money, intelligence, if she takes, then it will be very quickly successful. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His movement became successful when Maharaj Prabhu of Orissa took it. And Gautam Buddhist movement was successful when Maharaj Ashoka took it. It requires, and Krishna says, Rajarsayo Vidu. Later, Prabhupada finalized his letter, including a list of points to be addressed with the Prime Minister Gandhi. He has 6 points here. These points he wrote down in a little notebook, and that notebook is still in Vrindavan, his rooms in Vrindavan. It's on display there. These 6 points that he wrote down to discuss with Indira Gandhi when he met her. 1. As it is stated in our letterhead, the Krishna consciousness movement is for the whole human society. By reviving its God consciousness, Mamai Vangso Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Gita 15.7. The living entity and God are intimately related as part and the whole. 2. We are preaching this philosophy on the basis of the Bhagavad-gita as it is, without any interpretation. This is a cultural and educational movement to understand what we are, what is God, and what is our relationship and how to act upon it. The basic principle is that people must eat sumptuously and be free from all anxieties to cultivate spiritual identity and their relationship with God. We invite everyone, without any discrimination of caste, creed, and nationality, and factually within our society, there are members from all parts of the world, Europe, America, Africa, etc. 4. In India, we have got special interest to distribute prasad to the half-fed or hungry population. For this purpose, we are getting money from America, and we are getting goods from Australia. We have got already 6 or 7 centers in India, and we are distributing prasad in all the centers. Prabhupada mentions Australia here because we used to get ghee from Australia. For the Mayapur festival, they would cook all of the prasadam in ghee, and they called it butter oil, I think, instead of ghee. But it would come in these tins, about this big, round tins, green color, and they used to say, butter oil from Australia. So devotees would bring that and for the cooking. The young Indian men are not joining our movement. So, for conducting all this business, we require 50, 100 men, foreigners who are trained up. We have no business to take part in politics. We are bringing money from outside India. Practically, we do not eat by spending India's money. We are therefore requesting to allow our men to work on this mission to distribute prasad without any expenditure from India's side. Even for our own substance, we shall bring money from abroad, and the bank will certify. 6. If we take to politics, we can be asked to leave, but we are only interested in the movement of welfare activities. On this basis, we ask for 50, 100 men. The following morning, after passing through the formidable security check, Prabhupada met Prime Minister Gandhi at her residence. She stood, greeted him cordially, and offered him a seat, but he sensed that she was anxious and distracted, fearful for her life, possibly the next target after the recent assassination of the president of Bangladesh. She admitted as much and added that this was not, therefore, a good time to meet. Prabhupada felt that she would have preferred not to meet at all, but that because she had promised, she did so anyway, which he took as an indication that she had at least some inclination towards spiritual life. Gandhi complimented Prabhupada for the good work he was doing internationally. They are good boys, he responded. As Jayapataka learned afterward, he and other devotees had accompanied Prabhupada to the Prime Minister's residence, but had not been allowed into the meeting. Gandhi asked Prabhupada how he knew his foreigners weren't CIA agents. "I went to the West and preached," he told her. "These people have sacrificed everything. They gave up their bad habits. They are getting up at 4 in the morning attending Mangalarti. If they were CIA, they would live in 5-star hotels and have a whole different lifestyle. They wouldn't be vegetarian, give up all these habits." Prabhupada had understood that he would not be able to bring up his entire list of topics, but when he had asked it, Gandhi could arrange permanent visas for his disciples, she said she would. She never arranged permanent visas, but it was a little easier to get visas after that. They had some, instead of just a tourist visa, they had another kind of visa called, wasn't a yoga visa, it was some other kind of visa that the devotees could get after that. And they could stay longer. One of our strategies in Juhu was attracting important people from the vast Bombay entertainment industry, Bollywood, many of whom had residences in Juhu. Several months earlier, the Hindi film star Premnath had come to Juhu for darshan. Jagat Purush had greeted him and presented him with some devotional gifts and Mahaprasad, and starting from that context, Jagat Purush had begun cultivating actors, music directors, and producers, and enrolling as many as possible as life members. After a few months, he had been able to meet with Raj Kapoor, the king of the Indian film industry, at his RK studios in Chamber. After half an hour of conversation, he had presented him with several books, Mahaprasad, and other gifts from the temple. His intentions had been just to leave a good impression of Srila Prabhupada's mission. He wouldn't yet bring up the subject of life membership. Then Raj Kapoor had noticed a membership form in Jagat Purush's briefcase. However, he had asked to see it and then kept it with the other items he had received. Several weeks passed, and unexpectedly news came from Vrindavan that Srila Prabhupada had received a letter from Raj Kapoor with a check for life membership. Sri Kapoor had written that the greatest moments of his life were those lived with the Lord, that infinite ocean of divine love, Krishna. And with your great blessings, I choose to dedicate myself to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness by becoming its life member. Prabhupada was very pleased that one of India's most prominent personalities was appreciating and supporting his movement. On August 26, he replied, "Dear Sri Kapoorji, please accept my greetings. I'm in due receipt of your letter dated August 14, 1975, with enclosed check for 2,222 rupees and membership form." Membership started out at 1,111, and then after some time it increased to 2,222. I had the chance of meeting you in Jhansi. At that time, I was trying to organize my movement with the help of some young men at the Bhakti Bhavan in Jhansi. So after 10 years of struggle, in 1965, I went to USA, and by the grace of Krishna, it has become successful all over Europe, America, Canada, and Australia. As it is stated in the Bhagavad-gita, yad yad acharati shreshtas, tad tad ivartaro janaha, sayat pramanam kudute, lokastad anavartate. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Your donation to this movement, and your becoming the life member is a very great thing, and it will ensure others who will also follow in your footsteps. So I am very much grateful to you. Please visit our Hare Krishna land Juhu for Janmashtami and Vyas Puja on the 30th instant. I think the Mayor of Bombay will preside over the meeting. I hope this meets you in good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. The day before, on August 25th in Bombay, the municipal commissioner had agreed to issue the permit, the IOD, for the temple. And I cabled Prabhupada in Vrindavan. Commissioner agrees. Written IOD temple within 24 hours. Telegrams. There's no more telegrams. There used to be telegrams. And that's how people used to communicate in India, because the phones, they hardly worked. If you booked a call to Vrindavan, you might have to wait by the phone all day for the call to go through. And if you booked a lightning call, it might go through a little quicker, but it'll cost you 1,000 times what it costs to make a regular booked call. So nobody used the phones much. I remember first coming here and trying to call downtown. Wanted to get, in America, you get everything done on the phone. Just call up. But in the 70s, it wasn't like that in India. You call downtown, and all you get is some Puin would answer the phone and say hello, and you say hello, and he says hello, and you say hello, hello. I used to get very frustrated trying to get anything done on the phone. It was hopeless, really hopeless. India in those days was so backward, very, very backward. And so you can imagine the devotees from the West, they were used to getting things done on the phone, But here they came to India and no phones, nothing worked. So it was very frustrating. But anyway, this method of communication was telegram, right? Prabhupada received a telegram from Giriraj Swami. Pretty amazing. One time, when Srila Prabhupada left the planet. So telegrams were a regular thing. Now it's stopped. There's no telegram department. It's over. People use WhatsApp and the internet, emails, right? It's a very changed scene from those days. You can hardly understand what it's like. But when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, he was sick. It was Govardhan Puja. I was part of the BBT library party. And we had our traveling van in Ahmedabad. So the plan was that we were going to bring our van to Vrindavan, and during the week go out to the libraries and sell books, and on the weekends we would be with Prabhupada. So this is Diwali time. I was new to India. So I went with a devotee named Bir Singhadas, who is now Bhakti Vignas Nashinga, Scottish devotee. So we were going to go by train to Ahmedabad and then pick up our van and come back to Vrindavan to be with Prabhupada. So, like I said, I was new to India, but you can just imagine. It's Mathura, it's Diwali, we don't have a reservation. We're going to go by train to Ahmedabad. Complete madness, total chaos in the railway station. People fighting, pushing, shoving. I'm new to India. I'm looking at this. People are crawling in the windows to get in the trains. And I'm thinking, how can we do this? But the other devotee I was with, Bir Singha, he'd been here a while, so he thought it was okay. It's all right. So we got in he got in another compartment, I got in another compartment. We couldn't get inside so many compartments. Finally, myself and one other devotee, I don't know where Bir Sringar got in the train, but I got in the train with another devotee in this one compartment. It didn't look too crowded, so I thought this is good, And the train started, and we didn't get very far when I realized that we were actually in the ladies' compartment. So after a few stations, the ladies started to complain why me and this other brahmachari are in their compartment. So they complained to the security, which was a policeman with a rifle, and he told us you got to get out, and he kind of like pushed us out of the train. And I think we were in Savai Madhupur on the platform. The train took off, and there we were, right? And we slept on the platform that night, and then some other train came along, and we got in that train. And then finally we got to Ahmedabad, and we found out that Bir Singha had also gotten pushed out of the train, and he was on some other platform. And so we arrived just at about the same time in Ahmedabad, which was late at night, right? And so then we went to ashram, where Yasomati Nandan had rented a house, and he was living with his family. And this devotee named Krishna Nam was actually was the Pujari there, and he had taken a break in Vrindavan to see Prabhupada, and now he was coming back to be the Pujari. So when we woke up, Yasomati Nandan, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And something happened that I had never seen before. I mean, of course, by that time I wasn't very long in India, but after that, so many experiences, I never saw anything like that happen. From the window, some person you couldn't even see, there was grills on the window, says, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, telegram. And he pushes through the window this telegram, right? So the telegram read, this is 1977, the telegram read, Srila Prabhupada has left, come to Vrindavan immediately, Gopal Krishna. So we got informed that Srila Prabhupada had left the planet. So anyway, that, never, and, after that, so many years, decades in India, still telegrams were going on, but I never saw one delivered at 1 o'clock at night. Never, ever. Through the window. So that was the little anecdote about telegrams. Prabhupada wrote me the next day, so this is very good news. Actually, Krishna's doing everything. Only we are taking the credit. You got to understand that Prabhupada was directly in touch with Krishna. Okay? I was there when a newspaper reporter asked him, asked him, if you have to change a temple president, how do you decide to do that? And he said, I asked Krishna. So one of the disciples there, understanding that the newspaper reporter was kind of bewildered by that answer, he started to say that in the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, I am the intelligence in man. So I give the intelligence. He was explaining what Prabhupada said. And Prabhupada turned to him and said, what you're saying? What you're saying? He asked Rameshwar. He said, no, I asked Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. So when Srila Prabhupada said, there was so many instances, devotees went out to do something for Prabhupada. When Brahmananda went to Macmillan Publishing to try to get them to publish the Bhagavad-gita. They weren't getting anyone to publish the Gita. And somebody had bought a record from Macmillan. And they thought, okay, and he wrote a letter. So this was a good contact. But when Brahmananda got there, Prabhupada sent him. So go there and try and get them to publish the Bhagavad-gita. When Brahmananda went there, he found out the person that bought the record was just a clerk, just somebody in the accounts department, an ordinary person. So Brahmananda was talking to him, that, I got a Gita, can you publish it? That guy was just a small person. But just then, one of the big editors of the company walked through, and he said, you can ask him. And he said, what? The editor said. And he said, I have the Gita. He said, oh, you have a Gita. I've been looking for a Gita. Come into my office. So they worked out this thing. Brahmananda went back to 26 2nd Avenue, all excited. Macmillan was going to print Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gita, and Prabhupada wasn't excited at all. It's almost as if he knew that it was already a done deal. So how is that? When Jamal Krishna Maharaj and Tatpar Maharaj, at the time Tatpar Brahmachari, they went to Mayapur to speak to some Muslims to buy the original land in Mayapur. We got a few acres in the beginning. Where when you go to Mayapur, where the gate is, the fancy gate in the front, and a few acres inwards, where the Brajan Kutir is. Huh? Prabhupada's Brajan Kutir, yeah. So that was the first property they bought. Prabhupada's godbrothers were not allowing him to get any property, and they just didn't want him to get any property somehow or another. And he said, this is very bad consciousness. You know what this consciousness is, he said? He told the devotees. This consciousness is like, if by my passing air you're benefited, I won't pass air. Prabhupada said that. Very bad consciousness. So, but they got this Muslim guy to agree to sell some acres. So ISKCON was going to have its property in Sridham Mayapur. Very big thing, right? So they, in those days you by train and cross the boat, take a rickshaw, get the train, come Calcutta, go to Albert Road. So they got back late at night and they told Prabhupada that we got they're all excited. But for Prabhupada, he was like, he knew about it. It was like, he already knew that it was a done deal. And they were very surprised. Prabhupada didn't react to it like they thought he would, because he had already understood that it was done. So Srila Prabhupada and his activities are not, they're all mystical. They're very mystical because he's always in touch with Krishna. I'm enclosing a copy of the latest Back to Godhead he added, and I'm requesting that in your Janmashtami festival meeting, you read the article under ISKCON News about the Rath Yatra festival. Point is that in the foreign countries, they're accepting this as a bona fide religion and making holidays, and our Rath Yatra is regularly established. But in our own country, they are giving so many hindrances. Anyway, after all, we have got the permission. I'm also sending you a copy of the correspondence with Raj Kapoor. This should also be discussed in your meeting, how prominent people are giving us respect. Why are others making false propaganda? This correspondence can be published by you along with his photograph. I think you have one publication of member list. It can go in there. Are there any questions? Okay, so I'm leaving off on page 334, right at the top of the page. Srila Prabhupada ki.